Hello, this is my review of Black Christmas from 1974, a film about a group of women in a sorority house who are terrorized by a hidden killer. There are three films called Black Christmas, the other two being remakes from 2006 and 2019. My first foray into these films was with the 2019 remake, which I saw at the cinema last year. I was extremely underwhelmed by it. It certainly didn't galvanize me into going and checking out the first two, but throughout 2020 I've heard from many sources that the 1974 film is certainly worth checking out. So the other day I bit the bullet, I went out and bought the Blu-ray. This is from 101 Films. Came with a nice poster. That's not staying there, by the way. This is the sitting room where I do my reviews in, and I don't think my wife would like it if she came home later and I said to her, "Hey, I've started with the Christmas decorations, a poster of Black Christmas." No, that wouldn't go down well, but it can stay there for the next 10 minutes. So having seen this film now, the 1974 version, it's made my memory of the 2019 one even worse, because how you can go from the brilliance of the original to the ungodly mess that came out last year, I have no idea. It's cultural vandalism, it really is. But I don't want to say any more about that third film. I don't consider this to be a series. I consider it to be one film, and it just so happens there are two other movies out there which, for commercial reasons, also have the name Black Christmas, because even though I've not seen the 2006 one, I have heard what they did with the villain and the backstory and that. So honestly, I'm not hugely motivated to see that one, to be honest. Right, at this point, let me say there will be spoilers today. If you are watching this review and you've never seen the 1974 version of Black Christmas, go away now. Don't watch the rest of this review. You don't have to buy the film on Blu-ray or anything like that. Just catch it on a streaming service and come back after you've seen the film, because you should discover the events in this film for yourself. Right, let's get on with it. I'm going to get into the many positives. If we start with the location, it didn't take me more than about 5 minutes to fall in love with the sorority house in this film, or at least the design of it. I mean, from an architectural standpoint, it was a great place for a horror film. They don't make houses like this anymore. I loved the angled viewpoints that showed you stairs on two different levels, just the general decor. I liked the wooden thing that the killer can climb up on the outside. It didn't look something contrived. It looked like something that might genuinely be on the outside of a house like this. At no point did I ever feel like any of the scenes had moved to another set. It all felt like it was being filmed in this house. I went to university myself back in the day. We don't call them sorority houses where I come from. We call them student houses, but I never lived in a place like this. I would have liked to have done, not just because there's loads of women in there, but I like it when films make me want to be in the location where they're set, and that's definitely true of the sorority house in this film. The characters in it who lived there were great as well. Barb, played by Margot Kidder, was fantastically aloof and drunk all of the time. I've only ever seen that actress in the Superman films. Occasionally I go back to those movies. I've never seen Margot Kidder, though, in anything else, so it was good to finally change that. And if I ever get around to seeing the first Amityville film, which is on my bucket list, I'll get to see her in something else, which would be great. I love the character of Mrs. Mack as well. This is the sort of role that might be a bit throwaway in any other film, but I loved the quirk she had of hiding booze all over the house, and she was so carefree when it came to sort of ignoring any vices that the girls in her care might have. And I felt genuinely sad when she dies, actually. And I felt sad as well when the character of Claire dies, even though she's only in the film 5 minutes. I would like to have seen more of her. I was kind of like, oh no, don't kill her, she's really sweet. I wouldn't have minded, actually, if the actress who had played Claire had played the lead Jess, actually. Not that Olivia Hussey was bad. I remember Olivia Hussey from Psycho 4 when she played Norman Bates' mum, and from It as well. Well-known actress. John Saxon's in this film, and he's great. He's playing a cop again. I seem to be seeing John Saxon a lot lately because I've been getting into the Nightmare on Elm Street films, and yeah, playing a cop seems to be a regular fit for him, but I thought he was even better in this film than in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 1, really did. We get a great killer too. I thought Billy was an amazing killer, actually, and a really good creative decision by the film not to reveal his identity at the end. I thought we would find out. There's only really one red herring in Jesse's boyfriend. I thought it would turn out to be him. I thought the film was comfortable with the idea of us knowing who the killer was, even if the characters didn't. That moment near the end where the boyfriend looks through the frosted glass into the cellar, I thought he was going to change his expression at any moment into Billy's. I thought he was going to do something like this, change his face from into well, I can't do a psychotic killer's face, but you get what I mean. I thought it would be similar to the ending of the film Get Out, where the psychotic girlfriend suddenly changes her persona in the blink of an eye on the staircase, if you see what I mean. But that doesn't happen, and we never find out who Billy is. I'm fascinated to wonder whether he leaves the sorority house after this film, before the cops can properly explore the place, or whether he just hangs around. I can imagine that he gets really depressed after making that final phone call. Well, not that he's not already really unhinged, but I can imagine him getting extra depressed after he makes that final phone call and nobody picks up because everybody's dead or they've gone home for Christmas. But there's so many unanswered questions about this guy. I mean, who's Agnes? What's his connection with the sorority house? Why does he kill that 13-year-old girl? That is a really weird kill that he does compared to all the other murders in the film. As for the kills themselves, I think the killing of the cop outside was overkill. I'm not sure the movie needed that. And the one with the hook was a bit OTT for this type of movie. The two kills with the plastic bag and the knife in the bed, though, they were really chilling kills. And I like the little inserts of Billy smashing up the attic and rocking Claire back and forth. Those were really creepy. And the phone calls, wow. I mean, whichever actor did the ad-libs on those deserves a lot of credit, because I can totally understand why the girls were so mesmerised by what they were listening to. They couldn't just put the phone down, which is probably what they should have done. But yeah, on the whole, Billy's a great killer. He really is. For such a dark story, I thought there was quite a lot of comedy in there, actually. Good comedy, too. The dumb cop was quite funny, not knowing what fellatio means, and then his colleagues start rolling around in laughter. Any scene with Barb in it was humorous in some way or another, although I particularly liked the scene where she was saying how turtles can apparently have sex for 3 days running. I keep meaning to go on Google and find out if that's true, and if it is, I want to come back as a turtle. I also like the scene where Mrs. Mack is showing the guy around Claire's room and there's all these risque photos on the wall. That made me miss the Claire character even more. There's some good use of Christmas music. I thought we might be getting bogged down with the police investigation stuff a little bit too much at times. I mean, it feels like we spend a long time messing around with the wiretap business. I guessed all along that there would be another phone in the house somewhere. That seemed really obvious to me. I don't know if it was a bit less common in the 70s to have more than one home phone in the one house. I mean, when I was growing up in the late 80s, 90s, it was a perfectly common thing, but I don't know. But when I look back on the film as a whole, having seen the entire picture, I feel like being much kinder towards the police subplot. I think this film, in hindsight, suits having the whole police procedural element to it rather than just being an out-and-out slasher. I don't really have any proper negatives about the film, really. It's a terrific film. It's got a great atmosphere, loads of great characters, the story ticks all the right boxes. I'm just really pleased to have discovered it. I did a video the other day, my top 100 favourite horror movies of all time, and I pledged during the video to redo the list a couple of years down the line just to see what changes needed to be made, what new films needed to be put in there. And just a few days after I published this video, I've already discovered one film which I can say quite categorically, without a shadow of a doubt, will definitely be in my next top 100 horror movies of all time list. So yeah, that's actually really great. I'm pleased about that. This film is definitely going to take pride of place on my shelf. It's a wonderful movie. It's a work of art. So let's get to the bag of terror and find out what sort of score we're going to have today. We've got 1, 2, 3. It's a full house, guys. 5 bloody axes out of 5. I love Black Christmas from 1974. I'm so pleased that I found this film. It's an amazing film, fully recommended. And yeah, what more is there to say? Right, I am going to end this video now and go and take that poster down before my wife gets home. Until next time, cheerio, bye-bye.